50s due to climate change.
Well,
Everywhere there's a city.
Right.
I know. That's what, and then they have a link right there with a reference that leads you to a IPCC paper
Almost everywhere.
called
almost every.
Climate
Now-
Change 2021.
Now look up
Physical Science Basis.
Warmistas. I want
Yeah.
to see what Warmistas says on Wikipedia. Global Warmistas.
Yeah, that was a great
I
one.
apologize for that personal attack on true believers everywhere.
But that's how they
Yeah.
synthesize the data, right? It's like the heat waves have become more frequent and more intense almost everywhere.
Almost everywhere. What does that even mean? And see, what we just saw is basically the data. And
Yeah.
so the EPA puts this up in such a way that the average person who doesn't dig into it is going to go away with an impression. And I guarantee you, for every one person that actually digs into it, there's probably 100 people that will see it. And so the noise of all of this misinformation completely drowns out the one or two people that are saying, well, wait a second, time out. Let's take a deeper look at this. And then you see that, things aren't quite adding up here. And most people are going to read over that and go, oh, okay, 50 cities, but they don't, if you're somewhat educated in these issues, yeah, you immediately go, well, how did you account for the urban heat island? Most people who might read that, are not going to see 50 cities and even single that out as an issue.
Yeah.
They're just going to go right past it, and it won't even register as being significant. And that's what they're relying on. So what they want to do is be able to create an impression without being able to be caught in a total lie. So it's a whole art. It's a fine art that gets way too many people fooled.
And then that creates a narrative, and then the narrative is no longer their responsibility.
That's right.
They can manipulate the data just so that it gets the narrative started, and then once that happens, their job is done.
Let it run.
Yep. So
Break time.
break time. Let's take a little break here. All right.
All right. Yes, sir. Welcome back, everybody. Cosmographia podcast. And we're just going to get right into it after a brief word for the sponsor, CBD from the Gods. Randall, what do you got?
Well, I got my brand new jar of Hollow Salve, and I'll be bringing that, I think when this goes out, Bradley and I will already have made our drive over to Austin. Is that right, Brad?
That's right.
Okay, so this is now in our future, but is in your past. So we got a little bit of a warpage in the space-time continuum here. But so in a couple of days, Bradley and I are driving from Atlanta out to Austin. I'm going to be make appearance number 7 on Joe Rogan with Graham Hancock. And by the time you see this, that will have already happened. So on the way, I will be bringing not only my salve, because being cooped up in a vehicle for something like 14 hours, you get stiff, your muscles start to ache a little bit. So I'm going to have my salve and I'm going to have my oil. So I can take a half a milliliter of that or a couple of milliliters of that at night to help me sleep. And I want to be in top form.